and then you have your one special sniper that always hits, that you always want to take on mission with you, then that also applies.
Okay, so we can assume like the perfect combo would be to have them very skilled, so he's distinguished from everyone else. He has a very distinguished physical appearance, and there's a lot of exposure with that NPC. So if you have all of those elements combined, like that's a good NPC like that. So what actually, let me ask, like, what's the end goal? It's like to develop more immersive games, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, immersive is such a broad term, but basically to give players a more in-depth experience, emotional experience, if you want to phrase it like that. And but the combination you named, I would suspect that would be very helpful. I don't have the data yet,
Ooh,
unfortunately. I'm still working on that part.
that's exciting. Would you have a name for like the combination of those elements?
uh, no, not at this point yet. But maybe once I have gathered enough data and once I'm comfortable to share how exactly to do this,
Hmm.
then a name might be part of it,
Got it.
just to communicate it better.
Gosh, that's interesting. Um, have you played The Last of Us?
Mm,
I
I
think we had.
haven't played the first game myself, but I've seen a let's play of the entire game.
Hmm.
So back when I was watching let's plays,
What
it's been a
happened?
while.
Why you don't watch them anymore? It's fun, man.
Nowadays I play myself.
Oh, you play yourself. That's even better. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes. Mm, right now I play a lot of Crusader Kings 3.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, these are the types of games I gravitate towards. Grand strategy or small scale strategy like XCOM, and uh, the game I'm mostly using for my research is called RimWorld, where you have like a bunch of characters running around, and they make up your colony. They gather resources, so you have something to eat. They fight for you, and that is basically exactly the one. And I am approaching 1,000 hours in that game. It is the game I have spent the most time in.
Come on, man. Can you develop meaningful relationships with NPCs with this type of game? Because it looks very like, I don't want to say pixelated, but like feel like you're managing ants. I don't know. I probably describe it like shit. Don't get mad at
that,
me.
that is that is the fun part because I would say yes,
Yeah.
not everybody, but it happened to me. It happened to other
Mm.
people I know. Um, so yes, and if it happens in a game like this, that is this graphically rudimentary, then that is super interesting and something I want to explore.
And how did it happen in this type of game? Through the talks that you had with the NPCs?
You can't actually talk with them. That's the interesting part. You tell them where to go, and they do stuff for you. And sometimes they fuck up, sometimes they die. And through directing them and watching them live their lives, basically, you get to know them, and you start to build a relationship with them
By giving them tasks.
by playing with them, by
Play
existing in
with
their
them.
vicinity.
Wow, that's
And
interesting.
there again, that goes to something I mentioned earlier. Some of them are more useful, some of them are less useful. All of them have different traits. For example, one guy might be industrious, he works a bit faster, he works a bit harder, and another guy might be a pyromaniac, who, if you don't keep him happy, will set fire to your colony. So they are, if not visually, in terms of characters, they are very different from each other. Like, I remember in 2017, which is a while ago, looking at the calendar, I still remember my first colony where I had uh, my one pawn who was incapable of violence. He went out during the winter to gather some food because we were running out, and he was eaten by a wolf, which
Mm-hmm.
was very a very well memorable thing because that really made me sad. I like the guy.
Wow, that's interesting. So that's your main game they're using for research.
Yes.
Are you so
Also because it is so simple graphically, because that allows me to well modify it in a way. These are graphics I can make myself. And so my main challenge is not making something that looks nice, but something that mechanically does what I needed to do for my studies.
I see. I see. And even though it's simple and it works, like you can still study the parasocial relationships between you and the NPCs.
Yes,
Okay. Yeah, that's the reason why I brought The Last of Us is because it's the other opposite of this. It's extremely hyper realistic. You can see like the micro expressions and you spend like hours and hours with this one single character. Like this couple, right? They're not a couple. It's like a father figure and the daughter figure. Don't take this out of context. So the thing is, you kind of care for them, but you care for them because you follow their story and like extremely immersive and hyper realistic story. Something that we apparently uh, don't have in real world. And I mean, if you can extract and find what you're looking for in real world, you're basically finding the essence of this.
exactly.
Wow.
So earlier this year, I basically ran a pilot study just to figure out if the like the scale I was measuring parasocial phenomena on
Mm-hmm.
was working, and I ran my pilot study both on RimWorld and on Baldur's Gate.
Okay.
So also Baldur's Gate, like Baldur's Gate 3, like The Last of Us, it's very graphically impressive. The characters are very scripted, and it's such a great game. I love these characters in the game, and so exactly what you said, I wanted to find out how does it compare to between something very realistic and something very mechanically driven and less graphically with less graphical fidelity. And what I found was that my skills worked for both games. It was stronger in Baldur's Gate, but the effect was still visible in the data I gathered on remote.
So they exist in both games, but it was stronger on Baldur's Gate,
Yes,
and that's because of the graphics.
probably. Also, probably as giving the characters an actual personality you can interact with and spend time with is important, because if you spent 1,000 hours in Baldur's Gate, you spent 1,000 hours with these same characters. If you spent 1,000 hours in RimWorld like me, you